Alrighty, greetings all you intelligent 8th graders out there. Today is September 24th, 2013, and the title of our notes is Decimal Operations. Hopefully you're feeling pretty good about yesterday and today's lessons where we covered adding and subtracting signed integers. Today's going to be really a continuation of that, and rather than working with integers, we're just going to be working with decimals. We'll even go into multiplying and dividing signed decimals as well. If you want to go ahead and put the page number, this is going to be page 5 of your notes. And that pink paper, the review sheet that you have in there, make sure you label that page A as an apple, and we're going to keep those separate in your binder and label those with letters. All right, so the first step that you want to take when you're adding and subtracting decimals in general is you want to take the larger number and put that one on top. So if you had the numbers negative 250 and you wanted to see which one has the greatest absolute value, that means which one has the greater distance from 0. So if we put negative 200 on there, we have all that distance there. 50 is not as much, so you can see that negative 200 has the greater absolute value. That would be the number going on top. Then you would go ahead and line up the numbers at the decimal point. You would add any placeholding zeros as necessary, especially if you're subtracting. Those are very important. And then follow the operation, add or subtract. And then once you do that, you go ahead and bring down the decimal point. Pause if you need to copy those down. We're going to go ahead and do some sample problems here. Okay, so the first problem has us adding 9.802 and 99.06. We can see that these are both positive numbers. So when the signs are the same, we take the sum. So we want to put the larger number on top, which is 99 and 600ths. Then we line it up by the decimal point. Make sure the numbers are lined up nice and neat. Here I'm going to put a placeholding 0 up there, just so that we have all the same digits to the right of the decimal. Go ahead and add. And our answer would be 108.862. Alright, next problem has us doing 2.29 minus 23. Alright, so 2.29 is positive. That 23 is negative. So the signs are different, so we want to take the difference. Alright, so regardless of the signs, we just want to take the number that has the greatest absolute value. 2 or 23. 23 is farther away from 0, so 23 is the number that goes on top. I'm going to add a decimal and some placeholding zeros there. And then we're going to subtract 2.29. Do the math. And we get 20.71. Alright, and I know I said the 20.71, kind of weird, so don't make fun of me for that tomorrow. Appreciate it. Alright, so problem number 3. Let's go ahead and write that that's a negative number, and then minus a negative number, so that means that's going to be a positive. So the signs are different, so we want to take the difference. Alright, here place value is going to be important to determine which number goes on top. So that's going to end up being the 0.4 minus the 0.09. We get 0.31, and we want to take the sign of the bigger number. Here 40 hundredths is greater than 9 hundredths, which means our answer is going to have a negative. Alright, so I went ahead and scrolled down and listed the steps for multiplying decimals. Pretty much treat it the same way as multiplying integers. You put the number that has the most digits on top, you line up those digits from the right, then you go ahead and multiply. Then to figure out where the decimal goes, you have to look at your factors, add up how many numbers are to the right of the decimal point in each factor, and that's how many times you move the decimal to the left in your product. All right. Okay, so if we are multiplying 4.8 times 0.06, we're going to go ahead and put 48 on top, and we're going to multiply that by 6. We're not going to worry about the decimal point yet. When we do that math, we get 288. Now, the decimal point is right there. We want to move it 1, 2, and 3 places to the left because that's how many digits are to the right of the decimal in the factors. So here we go, 1, 2, and 3. So your final answer would be 0.288. We don't have to worry about signs here because both numbers were positive. So our answer is going to be positive. But here, number 5, we've got 18 times negative 5.2. This is a good time to remind us that when we multiply a positive times a positive, we get a positive. When we multiply a positive times a negative, we get a negative. And when we multiply a negative times a negative, we get a positive. So here, positive times a negative means that our answer is going to be negative something. Here, it doesn't matter which number goes on top. I'm just going to write 52 times 18. Go ahead and do the math. And we end up getting 936, but we can't forget about the decimal. So here there's one digit to the right. In the 18, there's no digits to the right. So we want to go ahead and move the decimal one place to the left. So our final answer would be 93.6. All right, thanks for hanging in there. We're down to our last topic here, which is dividing decimals. So I went ahead and listed the steps for you. Here you have to be able to know where does the dividend go, where does the divisor go. Dividend is always on the inside, divisor goes on the outside. Then you move the decimal to the right in the divisor until it's a whole number, and then you move the decimal and the dividend the same number of times. So here we've got 16.4 divided by 8 thousandths. Both numbers are positive, so our answer is going to be positive. We don't have to worry about the signs here. This will be a good review on dividing decimals. So here, 16.4 is the dividend. So that's the number that goes on the inside. And then 8 thousandths is the divisor. That's the number that goes on the outside. All right, so step 3 said that we have to move the decimal to the right in the divisor till it is a whole number, which means we have to move it 1, 2, 3 places there. So I'm going to add some placeholding zeros there, and we're going to move this 1, 2, and 3. So the decimal is going to go up there. And now we're dividing 8 into 16,400. That goes twice. 8 cannot go into 4, but 8 can go into 40. And then that ends up being a 0. So your answer is 2,050. All right, problem 7 here. We've got a negative 441 divided by a negative 1.4. The rules that we listed with multiplying signed decimals applies here. So negative divided by a negative means our answer is going to be a positive. 441 is our dividend, so that's what goes on the inside. And then the 1.4 goes on the outside. We have to move it over one place there. So I'm going to add a placeholding 0 there. Decimal goes up there, and now it's 14 into 4,410. That's going to be 3 times 42, 21. That'll go in once. And then 70, which is 5. So our answer ends up being positive 315. All right, so that's the end of our notes for today. On a separate piece of paper for tomorrow, we would like you to create 2 word problems where you have to add, subtract, multiply, or divide signed decimals. And go ahead and solve those and put the answers on the paper. Again, on a separate piece of paper, create 2-word problems where you have to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, sign decimals. Money is always a good uh, example for where you have to add or subtract or multiply or divide decimals. And then be creative. See what you can think of. See what kind of scenarios would require somebody to add, subtract, multiply, or divide decimals where they're positive and negative. So good luck with that, and we look forward to seeing what problems you create. Okay, take care. Bye.